So with just a few weeks into the summer initiation season, at least 8 initiates have died, some due to dehydration, while another died in his hut when it caught fire. The Eastern Cape MEC for Traditional Affairs, Zolile Williams, says 18 people have been arrested for the illegal initiation of boys who had lost or had gone who had not undergone the necessary health screenings before going to the mountain. Among those arrested are unregistered traditional surgeons and nurses. For more on this story, we are now joined on the line by Contralesa spokesperson Zolani Mkiva. Zolani, very good morning to you, and thank you so much for making time for us. For me, it is with a very, very heavy heart that we have this conversation again, and it almost seems that every time round about this period of the year, we have this conversation, Zolani, and I wonder when it's ever going to come to an end, if that is even possible, where we have a summer season that will go past without any boy dying.
Well, Aldrin, it is our wish that we shouldn't be having this conversation, given what we put in terms of planning, preparation, to do troubleshooting, to prevent any fatality from happening. But unfortunately, here we are once more. It's because out of the 8 that you are mentioning that have passed on just into the first week of the start of the initiation season, 7 of those initiates have passed on in the illegal bogus initiation school. So more than anything, we have a problem of criminality that has crept into the sector. People who are, as we're planning officially and formally, they are planning unofficially and informally, which gives a big problem because what they do is behind the scenes. And unfortunately, they don't follow the regulations. They just lure the children there, and they don't give them water to drink. You are correct. The majority of them have passed on because of dehydration. I know that some of them in the 7, there is an initiate who seemed to have been tortured to the extent that he was beaten several times over the past 5 days, and he couldn't take it anymore, and he passed on. So that's the main problem that we have, Aldrin. And so it means we have a criminal issue more than an issue of children dying as a result of other things. This dehydration is a forced one. They just demand that the children will not drink the water. The good thing is that now 18 of them have been apprehended, as you say, and we hope that the wheels of justice will come very hard on them so that an example is made. Because one of the critical problems that we have is that when an inquest is done, these children are declared as having passed on because of natural causes. It's not true. It's not natural. They die because someone did or inflicted pain on them, either by denying them to drink water or through ill treatment, which includes beating them to death.
Sure. And the thing about this, Zolani, is, one, there are regulations that are in place. And those regulations are clear about what is expected in terms of the registration of the initiation school, what happens at the initiation school, and then on top of that as well, that the surgeons themselves must also be registered. So legislation is in place. Then how then do we deal with this level of criminality that is still persisting, because it's nothing new?
It's definitely nothing new. And it's beginning also to take different mutations. We are talking today about those 8 initiates that have passed on, and 7 of them have passed on from these bogus initiation schools. But there is a new phenomenon of extortions, which also create the same situation because extortionists are pressurizing the initiates to give them the details and particulars of their parents. And they then go and threaten their parents when the parents do not give them the money, and then they come back to torture the boys. In fact, they would have warned the parents that if you don't give us what we demand, then you must know that your child is not safe and may not come back. So we have a problem of a high level of criminality which has crept into the initiation season, and must appreciate that the value chain of the initiation season, much as there are laws in place, regulations, and guidelines, but the illegal ones, they don't adhere to any of that because that is not in their interest. Okay. That's not what they want to see happening at the end of the day. All what they want, their interest is in money.
Zolani, unfortunately, we are running out of time. I just quickly want to ask you this question, though. How much do parents have to pay for initiates to go through this rite of passage, more or less?
Well, in terms of actually enrollment, it is very accessible because it does not exceed 3,000 rands. So it depends. It may be anything from 1.2 to 3,000, as I say. That is for the enrollment for the children to be there until, the lapse of 30 days.
Okay, thank you so much for that. 1,000, 1.2 to 3,000, that is a lot of money. Perhaps maybe a lot of money that also would push somebody to open an illegal initiation school. How do you deal with that? That's one of the questions that we're asking in the poll this morning, but we'll tell you about that poll a bit later on. That brings us to the end of that conversation. We're going to take a quick ad break. When we come back, we continue with the AM Report.